What's up, foos? I'm super excited to share this video today. I've been meaning to do it for a while. This video is going to be about how to get stage time at a comedy club. Now, if you've been doing comedy for a while, you've been doing open mics for years, you have your tight 7 minutes, and you feel like it's your time to graduate to performing for real audiences at a comedy club, but you have no idea how to do so. Well, I'm here to help you. Now, when I was starting out, nobody really told me how to go about doing this. I kind of had to figure this out all on my own. So I'm so excited to share this with you, and keep in mind this is more for the very competitive scenes such as Los Angeles or New York, because that's the scenes that I'm familiar with and the comedy clubs that I have experience with. So if you're in a different scene, this might not apply so much there, but in a very busy scene like Los Angeles or New York, this might be valuable to you. So I've worked at a comedy club here in New York City for a little over 2 years, and I've seen all the ins and outs. I've worked as a doorman, I've worked as a manager, and eventually I worked my way up to getting paid spots at the comedy club. So there's 3 main ways on how to get stage time at a comedy club. First one is to get passed at the club by auditioning. Now, various clubs here in New York has different audition processes. I know one club here has an open call system where whoever wants to audition shows up at the club on a certain day, they receive a ticket, and that ticket determines what is your audition date, where the booker will watch your set and give you notes and determine whether you get passed or not at that club. The second type of auditions are the auditions that have certain types of requirements. So a comedy club might say, you're welcome to audition for our club, but you have to have 3 or 5 audience members, paying guests, to come watch your audition set. Now, this is the reason why it's so important to be prepared and really know your set inside and out. If you don't think you're quite ready, if you're not murdering and killing at open mics and bar shows, you might want to wait a little bit before auditioning, because you don't know when you're going to get this opportunity again. And also, you have to understand that you're competing against all the other number of comedians that believe that they're ready. So unless you're ready to really go above and beyond, you're crushing every single set, you might want to wait a little bit, because especially if an audition has requirements where you have to bring a certain amount of people, you want to make it count. Now, once you get passed at a certain club, most likely you're going to start by doing late night. And late night is the shows that happen late at night. Usually these are for younger comedians to really hone their voice. That shows a lot of promise. And when you get passed at the audition stage, that's how you're going to first start off. Another great way to get quality stage time at a comedy club are through independently produced shows. A lot of times comedy clubs will have relationships with various producers to put on shows for them. The comedy club will allow them to use the room, and the producer will promote the show and book the comics, and they'll do a form of profit sharing. Now, as a comic, if you don't have any relationships with these independent producers, they might ask you to bring supporting guests, paying guests to help support the show. Now, let's say you don't have any more people to bring to these shows. What do you do? Well, there are other creative ways to get stage time on these independent produced shows, and this is by providing value. A lot of times these shows, they might need help, whether it be help seating, helping make a flyer to promote the show, or they need a photographer or a videographer. And these are all additional ways to provide value and get stage time. There's countless amount of times where I've helped seat in exchange for quality stage time in front of real audiences, and that made me become a stronger comic. So as opposed to being like everybody else and saying, oh, how can I get the stage time? How can I get the stage time? Shifting that thinking and saying, hey, what can I do to help this show will allow you to get that much more stage time. The final way to get quality stage time at a comedy club is my favorite. This is the way I was able to get quality stage time, is by working for the club. Now, when I was a younger comic and I was hitting open mics, and after many years, I felt, oh, now is the time to graduate. However, I really didn't know how to go about getting past at clubs. Now, one club here in New York, they had a special internship program where you can work at the club, answer phones for a few hours, and that later in the week, you'll get a spot on a show. So I started off as an intern, interning, answering phones, and once I was providing this value, I was able to develop relationships with the managers, with the bookers, with the comedians, with the staff, because I was always there, right? And eventually a position opened up for a doorman. And since I was hardworking and I was providing value, they asked me if I wanted to be a doorman for the club. And I said, sure, why not? I had quit my job to pursue comedy full-time. I could use the extra cash, and that's how I started. Many comedians, famous comedians, have started out working at the club as a doorman. You know, Keenan Wayans, Sam Kinison. I mean, there's so many. I know Neil Brennan worked at the Comedy Store for a while. And from doing this, if there was ever a comedian that didn't show, or they needed somebody to fill a spot, I was the person, because I was the person that was there and I had developed that relationship. So through this, I was able to not only get spots, I was able to get better, and eventually they started giving me paid spots as a host, paid spot on weekend shows, and this is how I was able to get quality stage time at a club. I know you came to this video to see how can I get more stage time, but instead, in my experience, kind of shifting that thinking to what can I provide is when I started reaping a lot more of the benefits. There you have it, guys. How to get stage time at a comedy club. I hope this video was helpful. For more comedy tips, advice, and funny content, please subscribe. And please watch more of my videos. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you.